It's now time for What's Up Asheville, sponsored by the City of Asheville, with the host, Mr. Sam Parada, and here he is.
Hey Asheville, what's up? Welcome to What's Up Asheville here on WRES 100.7 FM, a show where we talk about initiatives, projects, and the lives of city employees for the City of Asheville. I'm Sam Parada, Communication Specialist, your host, and today we have two guests from the Parking Services Division. We have Chase Cutshaw, Parking Systems Coordinator. What's up?
Hey, how are we doing?
Doing good.
Yeah.
Happy to have you here.
Yeah.
And also we have Sabrina Tolley, Parking Services Division Manager. What's up?
Hi, thanks Sam, thanks for having us.
Of course. Sabrina, you're kind of new with the city. Just want to start with that. You told me you came in November, so you haven't had that much time to get acquainted with the city, but tell me about your experience so far.
Sure, yeah, so I started in mid-November, still learning my way around, but really enjoying the area. The group, city is a great place to work and great colleagues, so really happy to be here.
Yeah, you jumped in right after the storm, so I hope that your time getting acquainted with your job has been smooth as possible.
Yeah, it has been.
Okay, yeah, we got a good group of people here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't work with parking at all, but I've been told that you guys are a fun group to be around with. So, and then Chase, complete opposite end of the stick. You're with us for like a decade now.
Yes. Yep. So I started in March of 2015. Started as a parking enforcement officer, writing tickets, and then just kind of kept going from there.
I'm sure you've become more popular as time.
Oh yeah. Less hated these days, I think.
Yeah. So what do you do like on a day-to-day?
So I work with our maintenance supervisor, and we kind of make sure that pretty much if it makes money, we can make sure that it keeps making money. So any of the garage maintenance type things, all of the on-street parking meters, any and all of that sort of stuff.
Fixing stuff up.
Yes, sir.
Do the parking meters get vandalized often?
Sometimes, yeah. Yeah. We've had some strings of vandalization that we've had to deal with and come up with some cunning ways to try to make that stop happening. But, yeah.
But then Chase is the man that fixes it up.
Yes, sir.
So today, I want to talk about an upcoming app that will make parking easier. We'll also talk a little bit about the garage closings happening later on in the year and how to best mitigate that. And then we can also jump in a little bit about parking validations, which is something that I didn't know was a thing until today. So we can talk more about that, but let's jump into the good bits of today. So the Flowbird app, what is it?
Flowbird app, yes. So it is our new app that we'll be using for mobile payments at the meters on street. It's going to replace the one that we've had for 12 years now, somewhere in that range of passport parking. And we're really excited for Flowbird. We're hoping that the new innovations that they can bring to us will really help us out and help our customers out, and anybody coming to downtown just be able to maybe park a little easier.
So park easier means this is only for downtown, I imagine.
Yes.
So how does it work? Do I just find an empty spot, take my app out and pay?
Pretty much, yeah. There's a couple of different ways to do it. Find your parking space on street. All of the information that you'll need will be on the back of the meter. We're gonna have some stickers that'll tell you what zone you're in, what space number.
So the meters will still be
The meters will still be there. Okay. Yep. So this is just an addition to what our parking meters already provide us. So yeah, all that info will be on the back of the meters. You can use the app. If you're a frequent customer, that'd probably be the easier way to do it. But if you're just visiting, there's also the text to pay option, to where there's going to be a number on there. You text all the information, and you'll be good to go.
So you don't need to have the app.
You don't have to have the app.
It just makes it easier.
Yep.
Okay. And when can we expect the app to be available for use?
Should be fully available on July 1st.
July 1st.
Yep.
Okay. And so does that mean that I cannot pay with cash anymore? Like, how does that work? Have I been able to pay cash? Period. Is that a thing?
We still take quarters. Yeah. Quite a few people still pay with that. So we'll still have that option available as well for, the meters still accept quarters, nickels, dimes, all that fun stuff. They will still take credit cards directly at the meter as well. But then, it's just a little extra option that a lot of our business owners and people who work downtown, they like to utilize that mobile pay option quite a bit.
Well, I mean, it makes things a little easier.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yep.
this is, just to make it clear, this is different than the, I guess, private, like, scan the barcode and put your number in here or whatever. That's not a city.
No, yeah. So any of the off-street lots that have any of the signage, Park Mobile, I believe, is what most of those use. That is not associated with us.
Cool. So, Flowbird app,
Flowbird app.
July 1st. Text or use the app or pay cash,
Correct.
All of those things are still available.
Yep.
So some of the ways the city innovates in the technological world. So thanks for that. Now jumping a little bit into why is it that we have to pay for parking. I know that a lot of places have free parking available. So what is the necessity for that specifically?
Sure. So, I think a lot of people think that cities charge for parking because we can, right? That it's about making money.
To make a profit.
Right, to make a profit off of people. And there is a revenue component, certainly, to that in terms of being able to generate enough revenue to maintain the infrastructure and and invest in future developments and technology. But really, the biggest reason why we pay for parking is it comes down to supply and demand, and our pricing strategies are really to charge for a higher amount for premium on-street parking, so those curb spaces, right downtown near entertainment, restaurants, businesses, those are the spaces that are highest demand. If we didn't charge for those, or if those were unrestricted, they would be full, there'd be very little turnover. And it really doesn't serve businesses or customers very well who want to maybe come for a couple hours, shop, potentially, move around or just pick up a couple things and be able to go into the store and carry their purchases. Yeah, right there. So that's a big part of it. And then also looking at then how do we price garages in other places. So we'll look at having lower price or other parking where there's no fee for those, a little bit more on the the outskirts further away, so folks who are willing to walk and are more price sensitive to those parking fees have other options as well. And I'd also mention, in our garages, they're really geared towards longer term parking sessions. So we have a daily max of $15. So folks can park for the day, be downtown all day without accruing additional
breaking
fees.
The bank, going to the airport.
Exactly.
Right. So, parking has been a hot topic for a while because there's not enough. So what you're saying is that if parking was free, finding parking would be even more difficult than it already is.
Exactly. And I know, a lot of times folks want to incentivize, by offering maybe free parking or saying, we shouldn't charge for parking because that'll bring more people downtown and bring in customers and shoppers. And it really kind of does the opposite. It discourages folks because they come downtown
and they just stay
and typically as well, workers and residents are there during those either earlier morning times or at night when folks are clearing out. So those spots, if they're unrestricted and no payment is required, those would fill up with folks who are going to park for hours or days even at a time, and not leaving any availability for the folks that are wanting to come in and visit.
I mean, just finding parking at the city to go to work is such a headache. So basically, this all just boils down to creating traffic and movement by restricting the amount of time or by having to pay for longer. Never thought of that. There seems to be whole science structure to parking, which I love to see stuff like that. I've never thought about parking that way. So it's cool to see that there's people who make it their whole career in just knowing how to push for, to help out the people in the city, for example. So you talk about revenue. Just yes or no, plain. Are you charging enough to make any kind of profit?
We do generate positive
generate enough.
net revenue. Whether it's enough,
Well, enough for what?
Exactly. We are going to be borrowing. We've got some large construction projects, which we're going to be talking about coming up, which we'll be borrowing for. So it's certainly something that that we do need to look at and plan for longer term as we put budgets together and look at fees and projected revenues.
So like all of that revenue, or most of it, like is being spent on things like Chase fixing something up, or a portion of it, I imagine, goes to like fixing parking garages.
Oh, absolutely. So, a lot of that is the revenues go directly towards operations. So, staff, supplies, materials. We also have contracts with a lot of technology providers. So a lot of times people don't think about the technology that goes into maintaining and operating parking, but they're all networked equipment. They're connected so that we can take credit cards. And with those we have software associated with those, and we have companies who provide that and manage it. So there's fees associated with all of those aspects as well.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you guys, parking service people that are on the street, making sure that how does that work? Is there like a camera? Is there like a timer? Like, how does that work? Because I've always been curious. Like someone walking by and reading the meter or whatever, and then having to issue a ticket. But like, how exactly does that work?
Sure. So some of it's based on routes, and they're doing visual enforcement. But with the pay by cell option, we are going to work on an integration so that when people buy time, it will push that fee out to the meter, and enforcement officers will still be able to do that visual enforcement to see whether time is paid for or not. But it's also, if for some reason it didn't push out, those transactions will still be stored in our back-end software, where they can go in and look in the back end to verify those payments as well.
I see. Yeah, I always thought, I don't know why I always thought, ever since I was little, that people just go in with a little book and like write the stuff down.
Used to.
Okay, well, you used to do that?
I did not. No,
technology was advanced.
Yeah, I have had to do some handwritten tickets before when some software failed, but
right.
Generally we've got the cell phone and we just print them right off of our hip right there, and there you go.
So Chase, you've been living, kind of local, native.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have any hints and tips for people to find
tips.
parking or make it life a little easier in that sense?
If you're going to an event, get here early, right? I feel that should go without saying, but get here early. We've got our high school graduations coming up this weekend. That's going to be a real busy Saturday for a whole lot of different people, and we would hate for you to miss your kid graduating. So make sure you get here early. On-street parking will be paid on Saturday, but our garages will be open. We'll have special event rates going there, and
So check out the parking garage first.
Check out the parking garage first. That's always the easiest.
That's what I want to be doing.
Yeah, especially if you're going to be here for longer than 2 hours, because that's about as long as you can park at a meter.
Can you not add extra time to it?
You can. We would prefer that you don't, because that kind of takes away from the turnover rate. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, so the app will not let you add extra time. It cuts you off at 2 hours. You need to move your vehicle.
So if I have an empty parking spot next to mine, I just move over and do it again? Potentially, I don't know. If there's parking available.
Sure, yeah.
And also Sabrina's looking at me over here like, don't say stuff like that.
Technically, you could.
Technically, yes. Well, okay, cool. So just get there early. Get the app.
Yep. Make sure you park in the right spot, and I wanted to touch a little bit and go off of what Sabrina was saying about it. It's not just the revenue from the meters on that either, and why we charge for the parking. It's a safety aspect as well.
How so?
So, we have our parking enforcement officers. They're primarily there to check the meters, but we have a lot of fire lanes around town. We have a lot of spaces that, look like it might be a parking space, but it's not marked, so people will park there anyway. That could create a safety violation. You're too close to the stop sign or a crosswalk. all that sort of stuff. So
Yeah.
make sure to pay attention to where you're parking on top of that as well.
Well, I mean, I wish people that was more, common. If it's yellow, don't park there.
Yeah.
And the streets are already, narrow enough for a growing city. So, our firemen have issues just
Yeah, absolutely.
trying to maneuver as it is.
Yep.
So, be kind is what I'm hearing too. So, parking validations, what does that mean?
Sure. So this is an option I don't know that a lot of people maybe are aware of. So
I don't. So
Yeah. So what we offer, it's we call them validations. You could call them a coupon as well, but it's an option for intended really for organizations, businesses who want to provide either some or all of a paid parking session for their customers or group. So there's different options that they can purchase. So you could purchase like a 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 5 hour, or a full day prepaid parking voucher, and those can be used for any day. So it's not specific necessarily to a day. You can purchase those in advance and just have those on hand. So it's something that an organization could, if they want to give 1 free hour of parking to a customer, for instance, they could do that. So those can be ordered and purchased from our office downtown. And there's also a discount if folks are buying 300 or more. There's a 15% bulk discount.
300 or more parking
vouchers
at a time.
That's right.
Okay. Okay. I was wondering because when I hear parking voucher or validation, what I hear is like, this is my spot in front of my business.
Oh, sure.
Forever.
No.
And I just pay for it. So that's wrong.
Yeah, so these are for the parking garages.
It's like a little ticket you put on your car
Yeah,
or something?
it's like a barcode that can be printed and given to a customer. And so how it would be used is the customer would pull into one of our parking garages, take their ticket, and then when they leave, they would present their ticket. It would display the amount of money that they owe for how long they parked. And let's say they parked for 2 hours and they have a 1 hour voucher. It would give them $2 off the parking. They'd scan that right at the exit and then pay the difference.
So it's really an incentive for businesses to like offer to customers or maybe even employees so they can find parking and not have to worry about paying or getting a ticket or whatever.
Yep,
okay, that's
right.
cool. That's cool. Interesting. So, but you cannot reserve a parking spot in front of your business for that specific reason. That's a big no.
No, you cannot.
Well, thank you for that specific, for that. So, can I, as a regular non-business owner person, buy these vouchers?
Sure, yeah. If a group had, let's say, a wedding that they were planning downtown, they wanted to pay for all of their guests for parking that were coming down to an event, that would be something an individual could purchase as well to be able to pay for their guests. So it's open to anyone who's interested in purchasing those. And the rate, again, is just the hourly rate plus 25 cents per validation. And
I see. Okay. And then, so that can be used in any, street parking or garages, like anywhere you want. That is
garages.
city. Just garages.
Just garages, yes.
Okay. Another big thing that I'm about to buy one, put that on my thing, and then come back to a ticket. Okay, cool. And so, tell me again where people can get them.
Sure, they can get those at the Parking Services Division office on 45 Wall Street. They can just give us a ring or email parking@asheville.nc.gov to inquire about those.
And you have a phone number for that too.
Yeah, it's 828-259-5792.
Say it one more time.
828-259-5792.
Cool. And I hopefully, this is something that I don't think a lot of people know about. So maybe you'll get an increase in vouchers in your, in the foreseeable future. And if you do, then you know who to thank for that. It's me. Cool. So now let's jump a little bit into something that may not be seen as super positive right away, which is the temporary closures for not all, but some parking garages.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes.
Do you want to talk a little bit more on that?
Yeah, so we started this project a couple of years ago. We started working with Walker Consultants. They're an engineering firm. They have an office in Charlotte, and they came, did some assessments of all 4 of our parking facilities, and gave us.
You want
kind
to
of
listen real quick for me, please, because I don't know.
Yeah, so it's the Wall Street Parking Garage, Rankin Avenue Parking Garage, HCCA Garage, and Biltmore Avenue Garage.
Okay.
Yep. So they did the assessment on those. They gave us the general outline of what needed to be done and kind of the order that it needed to be done in. So we have decided to start with 2 of the facilities, the Wall Street Garage and the Rankin Garage. And we're going to start work on those hopefully early August. Still working out a time frame with the contractor, but hopefully that early August time range, and do what we need to do to make sure that that they can stay open for many more years to come.
Right, so what's wrong with, I don't want to say what's wrong with them, but what needs to be worked on for these garages specifically?
They're getting older. Wall Street and Rankin were both in 1988, and
Wow.
the type of garage that they are, they're a precast garage.
What does that mean?
It basically means they do all the concrete work off-site and then bring them in and put it together like a Lego set, basically.
Gotcha.
And
How do you know I like Legos? So this is
I know,
the
right?
best way to
Yeah.
describe it for me.
So those garages, while they're great up front, they're a little bit cheaper and everything. As you go down the road, you do have to spend a little bit more time and money to make sure that they can continue to be functioning facilities. So that's where we're at now. They're 36 years into their lifespan. So they need some concrete work, right? As my supervisor says, there's only 2 types of concrete, either cracked or gonna be cracked.
Okay.
So yeah,
So they're cracking right now.
they're not cracking in the sense of like it's gonna fall down on you, right?
Right.
We're-
I don't want to scare
no,
anyone.
we're calling these structural repairs, but really what it is millions and millions of cars have driven in these things now.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be some partial depth concrete repairs, some full depth repairs. They need new traffic coatings and waterproofing. They need restriped. It's things like that that we're going to be working on that to improve what they are now and make them last for quite a bit longer, hopefully.
Right. So this is all just like repairs. This is not making enhancements to the garage.
We will make some enhancements. We'll be updating. We'll be painting some things. Updating some guardrails and some things like that, just
But nothing
for some
that
safety.
nothing that like creates more parking.
No.
It's gonna be
Nope.
remain the same.
Eh.
So for both garages, then, do you, off the top of your head, do you know how many cars they hold together?
If you add both of them together, you're right in the 400 range.
400.
Yeah.
Wow, so that's a lot of, and the garage will be fully closed. It's
But-
not gonna be partially.
But not at the same time.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
We'll only close one of them and do everything that we need to do in there.
And then move
we'll
on to
open
the
that one
next
back up and then move on to the next.
Okay. And then how long do you expect? I hate to give timelines and provide, promises, but like expectation wise, like how long do we expect them to be closed?
We're hoping 4 to 6 weeks.
That's
So,
not that bad.
it's not that bad. If that means they get to stay open for another 20, 30 years, then
Yeah, that is true.
I think it's something we could live with.
So you're going to like more than double, or I guess double-ish. I'm so bad with numbers and stuff. That's why I'm in communications. So you're basically going to try and nearly double the life expectancy of these garages.
That's what we're hoping for.
So we won't be seeing them closed
Yeah.
for too long
Yeah.
again in 30
Unless we get the wild hair to tear them down and start over, right?
Well, in a world where we have money.
Yeah.
So we're closing the 2 garages starting in August. That's the plan. How about the other 2?
The other 2 will wait until next year. They have, I don't want to say less work that needs to be done, but the Biltmore garage is a fairly new garage, so it does have a little bit less. It's not maybe as pressing as the other one.
Right.
And we decided to not do this all at once for this exact reason. We didn't want to try to shut down everything and say, no, Asheville's closed.
So hopefully they'll be open again for the winter season, because that's a very busy season for our businesses.
That would be our hopes. So what we're shooting for.
Cool.
But, yeah.
Cool. Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
Good luck to everyone. Be mindful during that time period. get there way earlier, find the parking, use the app. Flowbird, it's coming out in July. Just download it, have it with you. I have like 2 or 3 apps that are for parking of the different ways that I can get parking downtown. So just add it to that little pile. So for the next 2 garages, are you expecting it to also be around August or?
I wouldn't even be able to speak on that, honestly. Those are going to have to go out to bid, and then it's going to be an entirely separate process from what we're doing with the first 2 here.
Okay.
So
so everyone knows, if we have a project where we need to like pay someone else to help us because we just don't have the capacity to do construction all by ourselves all the time, we put out a bid, so it's fair. We look at who wants to apply that's local. If they're not local, then we have to go outsource. So that's gonna take some time because they usually take a few weeks just to find someone and then go through the fair process. Okay, cool. Anything else you want to add?
I just want to remind people too, during construction, to use the Asheville app. There is a find parking locator in there, so it'll tell you how many available parking spaces there are in pretty much real time. It also will give you directions, wayfinding to that garage, so you can find your way there if you're not familiar with the area or where that facility is. So good thing if you don't have the app now to download that before construction to help you find parking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then just in general, it's such a great app. You can, give us tickets to, I'm not saying that if you find a pothole and you add it to the app, it's not get fixed immediately, but we'll be aware of it. And, the process takes time when you're a local government with little ways of funding. But yeah, get the Asheville app, get the Flowbird app, get there early. That's how you find parking downtown Asheville. So I guess that's all of it, all the topics we want to talk about today. So in the few minutes that we have left, if you want to say anything specifically about your job or about Asheville, maybe you can talk a little bit about how parking has shifted since Helene, because I assume there was an interesting time period.
That was a very interesting time period. Yes. I was fortunate and unfortunate during that time that I was here throughout the entire storm.
Same.
And the aftermath. And really the resilience that I've seen Asheville go through over these past few months is incredible, and I really can't thank all of the people that have come to help enough. I was on College Street when we brought in the tanker truck with the first fresh water that Asheville was getting.
Oh, wow.
And to see everybody that was coming into Station 1 down there for the fire department, people all the way from Los Angeles coming to help us, just really couldn't even begin to thank all those people enough. As far as the parking went, thankfully downtown was spared for the most part.
That is true.
As far as damages and things like that, some trees down and stuff. But yeah, I mean, obviously we saw that decline in customers for some time as we were working to get everything up and going again. But I think we're starting to see a fairly good rebound on that now.
Yeah, I was going to ask, have you seen an uplift in
We have, yes.
traffic?
I haven't fully looked at the metrics or anything, but it does seem like it's getting back. And with schools letting out and everything, I think it's only going to probably continue.
Mm-hmm, especially in August.
Yeah, especially in August.
I hope you didn't give that water truck a ticket.
I did not.
I know that it was not parked legally at all.
We let that one go. Yeah.
Okay. It was there for a while.
Yeah.
And Sabrina, happy to have you here. Happy to, for you to join us.
Yes.
I hope you get acquainted to your job much better in the next, however long you stay with us.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm happy to be here and slowly but surely learning my way around. So it's a great city and
it's good people too.
Yeah, great people. So.
Well, thank you both for coming today. And again, get the Flowbird app, get the Asheville app, get there early. Just text to get your parking validation. Get the vouchers if you need them. For your business. Good incentive to get people to come in. But yeah, that's all the time we have for today on What's Up Asheville. Thank you for listening and be great to one another.
You've been listening to What's Up Asheville, sponsored by the City of Asheville in collaboration with WRS 100.7 FM. This program will re-air every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12:30. Thank you for listening.